Hello and welcome into episode 3 of the Ballparks and Rec podcast. Parks and Rec, that would be recollections, not recreation, as we look back at some of the sporting events that we've covered and the people that participated in those events. Before we get into this week's interview, we talk about what's going on right now. Texas Tech football off to a great start, 2-0 on the season after Saturday's 33-30 double overtime win against the Houston Cougars, number 25 in the country at that point, Houston Cougars, and of course their head coach, Dana Holgorsen. You know, the last time Texas Tech played at NC State back in 2003, Holgorsen was part of that coaching staff, a team that went on to lose, and instead of recapping the game here, why don't we just go back in the time machine and get the recap from myself from back then.
Well, if you watch the game, it's no surprise what lost this game for the Red Raiders. It was obviously 3 turnovers that turned into 21 Wolfpack points. But what might surprise you is what Mike Leach had to say about the contest afterwards.
If I was worth a damn, we probably would have played better. We got plenty of opportunities to win this game. I mean, look at all the opportunities we have to win this game. Have you ever met anybody? I mean, this is a rare deal. You guys ought to write this down. You ought to write down the date. You're in the presence of a guy that manages to be a part of 681 yards of total offense, but only produces 21 points. You won't see that for the rest of your lifetime, I don't expect.
You know, I wouldn't say that it was his fault. You know, I think it's everybody's fault. You know, we're all to blame. You know, we're all a team, coaches, players, you know, everybody. You know, we all take this loss together.
And while the offense did have their troubles finding the end zone, the defense did keep the Red Raiders in the contest for a while. We'll take a look at their performance later on in sports. With the Red Raiders in Raleigh, David Collier, ABC 28 Sports.
Yeah, tough day in Raleigh for the Red Raiders. Equally as tough to watch oneself make a report many years later. All right, Texas Tech 1-4 all time in the series with NC State. The last 2 meetings, Dana Holgorsen wasn't the only one on the coaching staff. Yeah, Ruffin McNeill was part of the Texas Tech defensive coaching staff. This Saturday, Ruffin will be a special assistant to the head coach of NC State, Joey McGuire, with more on Ruffin.
He's got a connection here because he's got Ruffin McNeill on his staff, who's just one of the best people in the world. And, you know, Texas Tech Red Raiders know what kind of guy he is.
And with that being said, without further ado, time to bring in the man himself, a guy beloved by Red Raider Nation during his time on the South Plains, held several positions, including defensive coordinator and, of course, interim head coach in that Alamo Bowl victory over Michigan State. It's Ruffin McNeill. Ruff, how you doing, man? It's been a long time. I saw you on the sidelines here a while back when you were with Oklahoma, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, Dave. Man, good to see you. Everything's good. I'm back back in my home state, but we talk about our times in West Texas and love it quite a bit, Earlene and the girls and I. But it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you, and this time around, as we mentioned, you know, you'll be going up against the Red Raiders. You've done that a handful of times, obviously,
yeah.
with Lincoln at Oklahoma. But this one, is this one different in any way, shape, or form? I mean, I know they all have their different meanings and whatnot, but I mean, you had a long run here, and you're not a conference foe. I mean, it's just the North Carolina guy against North Carolina State, but you know what I'm saying. North Carolina guy going against his old school.
Well, you know, when I was at Texas Tech, we played North Carolina State twice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One at home and one here in Raleigh. And they remind me of that. There's guys on the staff that played in the game. Antonio Burnett is our strength coach, and Freddie Archie-Lindsay is our nickels and DB coach. And both of them played. And also Phillip Rivers, who comes back from time to time. He you know what kind of guy he is. Yep. He doesn't use bad words, but he uses words like "dang it" or those kind of things to get you going. But we played each other when I was at Texas Tech, and it was weird to see him on the schedule, you know. But I know it's going to be a great game. Coach McGuire's going to do a great job, and great staff.
Well, for everybody that doesn't know, you know, the last time we saw you on the sidelines was with Lincoln and Oklahoma. But since then, you've gone back home, and if they haven't had a chance to read the great piece that was on ESPN.com a couple of weeks ago, catch everybody up on the South Plains while you're there at NC State and how everything came about there.
Well, things happen for different reasons. When I left Texas Tech, became the head coach of East Carolina, Arlene and I bought this room and helped our hometown out of Lumberton, building. It had a hurricane there, a big hurricane, and we helped build the Alzheimer's dementia wing. They didn't have anything like that. Never thought we use it. We just do it we wanted to help our hometown, and we put my mom and dad's name as dedication to the room and area. Well, after East Carolina, I coached at Virginia with Bronco Benenhall, former BYU coach. And Lincoln got the job after Bob Stoops stepped down and gave me a call. During that time between Virginia and before Lincoln called, my dad had an episode with Alzheimer's. And, I turned down the Oklahoma job 4 times. And, because of that, and you know me well, I'm a family guy, and I think family is the core. And anyway, so I'm in Oklahoma with Lincoln. I take the job, and we have a great run. 3 championships, Big 12 championships, and, got to the playoffs 3 times, won a bunch of games, and it was great working for Lincoln. I love him. Lincoln is not just my friend, he's family. And so after the 19th season, LSU and Fishbowl, my brother who had taken care of my dad, excuse me, it became a lot on him. So we just felt it best, talked about it, and it was hard. And I went to Lincoln. I said, Lincoln, I need to go back home and be a son again. That's the way I felt and feel now. So it was tough to leave, but we had to do it. How the state come in the picture? Well, I've known Dave Doeren since the job I had before Texas Tech at Fresno State, right? Before I took Texas Tech job in 2000. Mm-hmm. Dave was at Southern Cal, and he was a GA, and trained our staff, instructed our staff in preparation for our opponent, UCLA. Wait a minute.
No, you're good.
Yeah, and we became friends over years. I've known him since he was 25 years old. Well, we stayed in touch along the way. Even at Texas Tech, Dave coached at Kansas with Mangino. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he's been in it a while. When I left Oklahoma, Dave gave me a call, and just to check on me, like we've done over the years, and make sure I was all right. But I was coming back home. We got a home here. Arlene bought the home. Excuse me. I have no say in that, but and any man that says that is not telling the truth. And if you don't, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so
100% agree with
home. You know that. Came back home, and near my dad, near her mom, and near my boat, and then wanted to be near a city that had medical facilities. The Raleigh, Durham area, Chapel Hill, Duke area is top in the world with medical facilities. And it got a major airport if we need to fly out and do things that way. So came back. So now that brought us back to this time now where I'm able to take care of my dad, and be around him during this time. He's got dementia, and like Uncle says, and it's been a blessing to be able to go, be in range to see him. Arlene went to see him yesterday, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Drove down just to check on him. And so that's sort of a nutshell of what the article was about. And Andrea did a great job, telling our story.
What's that meant for you both ways, that you get to spend this time with your father, but you also still have this connection to football?
It was different, a different role. 40-plus years now coaching, been on the field, high school, college, and it was different, difficult, challenging, all three. But Dave has made it where I'm here for him. I've been in that chair before. We have such a close relationship. He bounces things off of me, and I share things with him as well, along with other coaches on the staff too. Brian Mitchell, who's at Texas Tech, he's on the staff.
Yep.
And a lot of guys on the staff that we played and have battles against. John Garrison, offensive line coach, played in Nebraska that first year. We got a lot of former players here that spanked me when I was out there too. So they remind me of that on a regular basis. So, but it gives me a chance to keep my mind busy, stay in something that I love, and most importantly, I'm around the kids. And I love, that's the part that I think that I love the best, is able to, maybe influence, change, share some experiences, help, educate, teach young people. And I think that's a major part of it.
Is it hard to believe it's been, I think we talked about it a minute ago, but it's been 19 years, I believe, since Texas Tech made the trip to Raleigh. What do you remember from that game? I mean, like you said, you guys had played them the year before, and T.A. McClendon, names that everybody loves there and not necessarily here. But what do you remember from that game in Raleigh besides the heat and humidity, which I remember?
That's the first thing. It was coming back home. It was a lot of heat, but it was a back and forth game. They had a really good defensive front. I remember that. And, I thought they played hard and played well and talented, and it was a tough game. So both of those games are very memorable, and I put them in the bank. All experiences are good experiences if you learn from them. So, but it was a tough game as a Red Raider at that time.
One thing I noticed, and I was thinking about this the other day, I was trying to think of energetic coaches on the coaching staffs here over the years that I've been here, and I'm sure you see Joey is just chock full of energy. And I might be missing somebody in the last however many years, but you two have that in common. I mean, you used to come off the field, arms flailing, trying to get the crowd into it. What's it like seeing the energy of a guy like that when you know that you are one of those guys here on the South Plains?
Well, ironically, I like the way Joey has been brought into the profession. I started the same way, high school coaching and teaching. Joey had a lot of success as a high school coach. He understands on that level how you got to get 14, 15, 16-year-olds to pay your mortgage. You better get enthusiastic because they got a lot of things going on, but and then, going to Baylor, had success, and, I had no doubt that he would do a great job. He was ready for it because coaching is coaching. Some people get it twisted, like you have to coach at a certain level, this or that. Coaching is coaching, and it's all about teaching, motivating, able to take a player to a place he couldn't go to by himself. So I see that from Joey, and, and it's real because the players react to it. It's not a fake or something that he's trying to do. That's a part of his DNA. So real recognizes real. So they recognize that enthusiasm, and so I know where it's coming from. And he's excited to have his opportunity to coach at a next level, a university such as Texas Tech, and have his own program and own team. But he's run a team in the state of Texas. High school ball is like college ball there in Texas, as you know. It was almost took a job at a Dallas high school at one point because of, just it has a college atmosphere. Those schools do. So it's good to see a person that goes from each level up, and I think he's appreciative of being where he is.
What is your role on game day? What will you be doing whenever the Red Raiders and Wolfpack are getting after it?
I'll watch the game, observe the game, I know the game plans on all three sides of the ball. I watch practice. I have scripts. I have game plan, and I watch it all week. So I know exactly what we're doing. So I think everybody has a gift. My gift is I remember and have a sort of like a photographic type memory. So I watch and know what we want defensively, offensively, and special teams. I know what Dave's plan, his particular plan may be that game and thought process. So I'm watching how that formulates. So, and then he'll find me. He knows where I am. I'm always to his left on the sideline as he's facing the game. I'm always to the left. And again, in the background. I want to be in front. I'm not on the front lines. That's not me. As you know, Dave, I've never been that way. So, and then at halftime, we may exchange some thoughts of what I've seen and what I see. And then most time I'm around defense. A lot of times thinking about, well, the defense hangs a little bit. But my role is to observe and watch and motivate, encourage, and also to help Dave in any way necessary. You know, he may need.
I know that back in the day there were track athletes that would spend some time on the Texas Tech football team. So I know that you had some form of a relationship with Wes Kitley. Did you ever see Zach around at any time? And I mean, again, like you said, when you've been in this business long enough, you're going to see people grow up. What's it going to be like facing another coach, Kitley, on Saturday? And what do you expect from that Red Raider offense? We always talk about air raid, but there's so many versions of it now, and I think Zach has his own version as well.
Well, you know, I'm a coach's kid. I'm partial to coach's kids. We're different. And, you know, he got it honest. You're not going to be able to intimidate him. He understands the role of a coach and the responsibilities that come along with it. Also, innovation is a part of it. You know, you can, and using what Coach Leach brought and Coach Mummy started was a part of my thought process when I got my head job. And brought Lincoln. Lincoln still uses it, but you add your own flavor to it. You know, Lincoln adds more run game, than Mike does, and tight end use and those kind of things. So I'm looking forward to on the field. I know it's going to be exciting. I know they'll be ready to go and ready to play, and he'll do a great job and have them ready to go.
And finally, I'm also now doing sideline reporting for Friendship High School. Do you have any advice for me? Maybe the question not to ask to the head coach going into the locker room. I don't want to ask the wrong thing. What is the basic question I need to go to for a head coach, specifically maybe when they're on the wrong side of the scoreboard?
What happened? Don't ask him what happened. Because you're there, you should see what was happening. Yeah, you might get the boot with that. You know, hey, what happened, Coach? What happened in the first quarter? Well, you know, that's not a good question. You know, ask him something along the lines, what's some adjustments you think you're going to make going in? That might help, but that might get you same type deal. He's not really in a very good mood to talk if he's not doing well. The guy that's doing
You're pretty much in a rock and a hard place whenever you're losing.
Rock and a hard place. Like Nick Saban, he said that to Maria one day, and he was winning, I think. You know what I mean? I always, you know what? If they stop to talk to you, if they keep walking, they're not in a good mood. Remember this: if they stop, they're ready to hear your question. But if you got to walk with them as they're going in, he's going to be make it short and quick. Hey, Coach, I know you have them ready to go. What's going to be the adjustment for the second half? You know what I mean? If he stops, you're in good shape. If he's walking in, he's not in a very good mood.
Limited it to one question. Got it. All right, Coach.
Question.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate your time.
Take care of yourself, brother.
And again, thanks again to Ruffin McNeill for spending a little time with us here on the Ballparks and Rec podcast. Thank you as well for listening in, as you always do. Again, remember, you can subscribe, rate, do all that stuff. Share with your friends as well. You can find us on all the platforms, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. It's there. We appreciate your time. We'll see you again here on the Ballparks and Rec podcast.